Hello traders, today is Tuesday, January 28th, 2025. I'm gonna start the video with mentioning Apple. Keep in mind this content is not financial advice. It is for educational purposes only. Well, let's start the video and here we go. Apple, another crazy day. Unfortunately, yesterday I couldn't make a video. I was very busy and there were so many things going on yesterday. And it was unfortunate, really, that I couldn't make a video. But take a look at this chart. We have this very, very nice candles right here. This was from yesterday, 3.18%, and today, 3.65%. Definitely momentum. MACD and TSI are looking much, much better than how they were looking just a couple of days ago. Look how close we got to the 200 SMA, which is this line right here. Then we closed this gap. And now we are back into either retesting this trend line or maybe retesting this level of support, maybe even going down towards 233. One thing that I really like about this move is that you went over this volume shelf with a lot of momentum, and now you have a very lack of liquidity all your way up to all-time highs. Now we'll see what we get on Thursday. Especially on the call. I'm not sure if the numbers are going to be there for Apple, but let's see what kind of guidance we get. Cook, the CEO of Apple, is very good at controlling the message and pushing the stock during guidance. We'll see if he can pull this trick again. He has done it several times, but that being said, this is one of the few calls that I kept. 2 days ago, this was before we got the news or 2 trading days ago. I think that was on Friday. What I did was, and this was before the news of DeepSeek, I had the feeling that I had to de-risk a little bit. So I sold my position on Microsoft, on Amazon, and Meta. Now, and of course I work green, and yesterday was a pretty, I guess, overreactive day for the market. So a lot of names started with a lot of selling, especially like you had Amazon and you had Microsoft, obviously, and then you had Meta. But throughout the trading day, they managed to move to the upside again. So I'm going to talk about Microsoft and NVDA later. But on Friday, I just felt like, I had to de-risk a little bit. And what I did was I sold those positions and I bought Walmart and Costco. And those paid off pretty well, to be honest. But going back to Apple, I think this is looking very, very nice. Now, earnings are coming in a couple of days. Don't be surprised if you see a little bit of red by tomorrow. Especially after having a move like this, or maybe a smaller candle than what you're seeing here. And we'll see what we get on Thursday afternoon in a couple of days, and what type of guidance. Again, I have no expectations on the numbers, but guidance is probably going to be what is going to move this name. Now let's move on to Bitcoin, and let me take a quick note here. Again, I think we are in this safe spot for now. Yesterday, we had this move back to a 35 SMA, but buyers came back in and pushed Bitcoin to the upside again. Now we are, again, accumulating more liquidity here. We are consolidating this area. I'm not too worried unless we actually break this level of support at 99.7, let's say 100. And after that, if you break the 35 SMA with momentum, which could happen, then you would probably go towards 92. But for now, I think we are in a safe spot. MACD and TSI are not that bullish. I wish they were looking different, but they are not. So we'll see what we get in the next hours, or maybe in the next few days, and we might get a little more color in how things are looking. Definitely not having green right now, or maybe a move to the upside right now is not helping, especially on the lower indicators. Look at the RSI as well. But we'll see. This level at 100 seems to be strong. And you also have a volume shelf right here, which might, right on the 35 SMA, which might actually also work as a level of support if we break support at 100. Now let's move on to a name that I gave you. Let me check on my notes. When was it? When did I mention CRM? Let's talk about CRM. And let me check my notes. I mentioned CRM on the 22nd, on the 21st, on the 19th, and I think that was it. On the 19th, actually on the 15th, I was already talking to you about CRM. So let's go back. 15 on this. Wow, right on this candle, right here, on this big red candle right here. And I was already taking a look at CRM. Impressive, huh? One of the things that I liked about this setup was that you were under the zero line on the MACD and the TSI, and you were starting to curl to the upside. Yeah, these candles are red. I can totally see that. But once you get to this level right here, on this little hammer right here, it looks like already it's going to start moving. Well, today you had 3.70%, and yesterday it was up 3.9%. One of the things that I think is going to happen if there's still more choppiness on the chip sector is on software is definitely going to push, which means that Datadog, CRM, Snowflake, and even Reddit, which I also trade. I saw my Reddit position today. I think I did a little bit early, but anyways, a lot of software positions are basically maybe where the money is gonna go as far as technology goes, but we'll see. I think it's a little bit early to tell, but at least for what we're seeing now, looks like that is the trajectory. I do believe the CRM can come back towards 349 as a retest, which is support right now, and continue. MACD and TSI are telling me that this move can continue going to the upside. And I just want to make sure, because I don't have this this chart. Basically, there are some charts that I basically have memorized, and this one is not one of them. But look at this. I think if you break all-time highs, which is 369, you're gonna keep going. And I'm saying this because the MACD and the TSI have momentum. I would love to see a little bit of a retest on support, so the RSI cools down a little bit, and maybe you cool down the divergence here a little bit. Who knows? You still have more to give, but I'm quite glad that I showed this on Wednesday the 15th on the first time. Go back to that video, and I mentioned CRM at that point. And now look where we are. So we were, let's say, at the top of this candle. We were at 229, 330, and we are today at 360. So $30 if you were buying calls. Bada bing, bada boom. You can thank me later. Now let's take a look and talk about where are our friends of. Oh, why did I do CRM before Clover? Normally I like to do alphabetical, but anyways, let's do Clover. And look at this. One of the things that I was saying, and I've been following Clover Health since January of last year. I'm sorry, June of last year. And I mentioned this move. I think the first time I mentioned Clover this year was on the 13th, somewhere in these candles right here. Go take a look at the past videos. And what I like here is it is getting rejected, but not with a lot of momentum. I mean, yesterday was almost 5% down, but yesterday was a difficult day for a lot of names. And today you were down pretty much flat, 0.43%. I like that it's moving slowly to the downside. So you're getting the lower indicators to cool down a little bit. I think this has room to go to 430 or even to 390. But I like the fact that it's moving slowly. It was moving slowly here under the radar. I shouldn't say slowly, but under the radar over here. And I think the whole move that we are seeing in Clover is still pretty much undetected by the market, which is a great thing, because once this gets into a more, I guess, popular demand, for lack of a better term, I think this is going to start pushing really hard. Now, that being said, I love the fact that it's coming slowly down towards 430. And if we start consolidating in this area, that would be absolutely fantastic, because then you have a good opportunity. Also, keep in mind this stock has, its risks. I do think that it could be volatile from time to time. So be careful on that. Be mindful on how you position your trade or your investment. But I just love the fact that Clover has been moving again and undetected for a while, and for it's gonna be almost a year. It's like what, 8 months, and look where it is. And I love, for now, at least on the short term, that is moving down towards 431, and we might actually consolidate in that area. It probably has room to go towards 391 or 390. That is fine, I think. But I love, consolidating, and the fact that it's consolidating here, getting a little bit more liquidity and compressing this area right here. So Clover is not looking bad at all. Now let's take a look at another name that I did trade, and this was a today's day trade, and that is DocuSign. So yesterday I did buy a little more Reddit, and today, as soon as we open, I bought Datadog, and I sold again today. Now I did buy this on my Robinhood account. This is an account that I opened about 2 weeks ago, give or take, with $500. I just wanted to see how Robinhood Legend worked, and I think it's dog shit. But I still bought some calls and whatnot. The account right now is at it's at $1,200. So I more than doubled the account already. But I did buy Datadog today, and I did sell because, again, it's a small account, and I'm putting everything that I have. Like if I have 1,200, I'm gonna buy as much as I can with 1,200, right? So I sold Datadog, and I bought SoFi, and and I also have only 3 trades per every 5 days, because it's an account that has less than $25,000 in it. So, but in general, if let's just get focused on Datadog. If you take a look at this chart, it's looking pretty good. Now it's moving very aggressively. The RSI is looking already a little crazy. But what I love is the MACD and the TSI. Remember CRM? And I was mentioning CRM. Snow actually has a very similar setup as well. I love the fact that, remember when we were talking about Datadog right here, and I was trading this move as well. I did trade this candle and this move over here, and then I left it alone. But it kept going. So we were talking about Datadog back in November, then mid-November or something. So go back to those videos if you want to. And I love the fact that we were right on this level of support and on top of the 200 SMA. That was why I was so into this name back then. And also it was right in the 35 SMA. It was like a perfect situation. Look at the 325 SMA right here as well. So anyways, it moved, it had a gap. And once I started seeing this, I just went out because things get volatile. Well, the gap has been closed. This gap right here and this tiny gap right here. And now we're moving back up. And again, I do think that software names are going to be the ones that are going to benefit of everything that is going on with AI and whatnot. The reason for that is because if there is actually true if it's true that you can actually generate large language models, LLMs, with less money than what we were thinking, that means that smaller companies are going to be able to create their own models that are going to be customized for their own needs. And in addition to that, you also have a situation in which you can now piggyback on, I guess, existing models and or existing code, and then create something that is completely customizable for your own needs as a company, and obviously for your customers as well. So I do think that software is going to benefit a lot of what we are seeing today, and I think that is where I guess the interest of investing is going to move on. I think it's crucial to take a look or to pay attention to what we are going to get in Meta and Microsoft and all the earnings that we get this week, we really have to pay attention to the calls and see what this executive has to say and how things behave. I think this week is going to be critical, and it's going to give us really a good understanding of direction, and also a good understanding of, like, where the money is going to be allocated now. That being said, Datadog still have, in my opinion, more room to go. Even if you get a retest all the way down towards 138 or 137.5, that would be great. But or if you got a retest on that 35 SMA, but you are about to cross this volume shelf, and after that, you're just gonna move. Keep this in your focus list. The same with CRM, and probably that I would do. I haven't checked, and this is an educated guess. I will probably check on Snowflake as well. Now let's move on and take a look at HIMS. And I did actually buy HIMS today. I did buy some calls. They're up right now, only 2%, because I bought them towards the end of the trading day, I think. Now, I wish that there was a little more divergence here on the MACD and the TSI between the lines and the signal lines, which is fine. There's a good possibility that you're coming down towards this level of support on 29.7, but I think we're gonna hit all-time highs pretty soon. I like how this is setting up. I think that if there is more drama on on the chip sector, money is gonna be allocated in other type of companies. HIMS might be one of those that benefit, but besides software and whatnot. But I like the setup. I like how it's moving. It's not being it's not behaving in I guess, how can I say it? It's not behaving in any way that is not characteristic of HIMS. If you've been trading this name for a while, you will probably understand exactly what I'm saying. It's having these really hard moves, either to the upside or the downside. You have this rally right here, and then you sell off, and then you come back up, which is what we all normally see. I think I bought my call somewhere around in this dip right here. I was actually waiting for this to dip a little bit more towards that 325 SMA, because normally HIMS reacts very strongly on the 5-minute chart, reacts very strongly on the 325 SMA, which is this line right here. You can see it right here. So I thought right here, I was like, okay, we saw this. And then when I was looking at these candles, I was like, if it breaks this little area right here, I don't want to call it a structure because it's a 5-minute chart. But I was like, if it goes under this level right here, that means that it's going to go either to the 200 SMA or the 325 SMA. Well, that didn't happen. It consolidated here again. And somewhere in this, between these two candles, I did get my position. And but I'm just going to, this is July 18th call at 32. So that's my strike, is $32. I think this is going to continue moving to the upside. It's looking good. Now, let's do a quick pit stop. I should have mentioned NQ, but anyways, since I mentioned this, look at this now, 7%. Look at the setup right here. That's what I'm talking about. Between the MACD and the TSI, how things are moving. It looks a little bit stretched, but I think there is going to be opportunity here in the future, or continue to have continuous opportunity here. Now let's move on to Microsoft, and let me take a quick note right here. I saw that number wrong. This is looking great in my opinion. Nothing is extended. MACD, TSI, RSI, they are not extended. These candles are like very, very nice. 2.14%, 2.91%, and for a name like Microsoft, those are very aggressive moves. Look at this, straight up, and then yesterday pre-market disaster, but then you just came back and look from here to here, an outstanding move. You went from 408 to what we are now, 447. So this level right here, 415, is one of those levels that it just, is so strong. We have to, it's just very crazy that you had on a pre-market move. Wait, I gotta see this again. It can be, wow. Okay. So you had this move right here, on Monday, pre-market at 4:15. It's not showing on the daily, which is fine. So you went all the way down here, pre-market, and then you moved all the way to where you are today. And it's not extended at all. I think the MACD and the TSI are looking great. The only reason why I'm not trading this is because earnings are coming this week, and I just don't. I mean, chances are that they're gonna beat. Chances are they're gonna do well. But what if not? And I don't like to trade like that. I don't like to put money into something and then feel like, now what? Now I'm hoping, and I really feel uncomfortable when I have that feeling when I trade, and when I trade on hope. Not my thing. Now, if you want to risk some money and get in this name before trading, before earnings, you do what you want to do. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I personally feel a little bit uncomfortable. I just rather sit back and see how things are going to develop, and then we can make decisions. But as of what I'm seeing right now, let's say earnings weren't coming. Where is it, tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow. I would be jumping on this thing. I would have jumped on this thing today. I mean, this is looking fantastic. Fantastic. Now, another thing that I want to see, let's talk about NVIDIA. And one thing that I want to see is a continuation of this move, because once you have, NVIDIA was down, as we all know, almost 17% yesterday. And today was up. Basically, you got everything you lost and then more. Right, so you close here on yesterday, and then you're closing here today. So you're up at almost 130, and today you moved almost 9%. If you hear a howling in the background, that's my dog crying. My girlfriend went for lunch, and he cries when she leaves. And I think it is important to note, in my opinion, that you want to see a little bit of a continuation of this move. And that is important, because if you are just seeing what we're seeing today, just a move, a reaction to yesterday's reaction, then tomorrow can get choppy, and then you can end up seeing yourself back at, let's say, 115 or 117, But so I think if tomorrow, if we break this level right here, which is 130, 130, I think we're in good shape. Now, another thing that is crucial is whatever Microsoft says about CapEx for AI, and the same for Meta. If they actually say that they are gonna slow down all their expenses for infrastructure for their own models, this is gonna tank NVIDIA, and that is why I would be very, very cautious in how I trade this name. I think those calls are gonna be critical on how, and even Tesla, on how they are, these companies are going to allocate capital for AI, and this is all considering the fact that there might be a possibility of pushing AI at a very lower, or a much lower amount of capital than the capital that has been allocated for this technology, I guess. So just be mindful of that. Again, if there weren't those calls coming tomorrow or whatnot, I think this chart would look great as long as you break 130. Now, if you want to day trade it, maybe you have to keep an eye on this level right here. You want to break it with momentum, and then maybe you can buy some calls and whatnot, or, and see how you allocate that. But just be mindful. Tomorrow is going to be tomorrow and Thursday are going to be very, very important days for NVIDIA, especially once we know how these companies are going to allocate their capital expenses. That being said, let's move on with the last name, and let's finish this with Tesla. So, what can I tell you? Well, look, you have already some people saying inverse cap and handle. You can see it here, the cap and the handle. Yes, MACD and TSI is not looking good. But I think if if Tesla comes with good guidance, just like Apple, I'm not sure if they are gonna beat on numbers, to be honest. you know, unless the energy sector of Tesla is doing fantastic, but they miss deliveries. And you know, I do think that that might have an implication, obviously, on revenue. But Tesla has other sources of revenue, so we'll see how that plays out. But I do think that if Tesla beats, we're gonna hit 500 quick, in a hurry. But if it doesn't, then you're gonna find yourself at 330 right here, which is this level right under 365. So we'll see how things are gonna play out. Again, one of those things that are very, very difficult to right now, you know, how, you know, to predict. You know, it's a risky trade in my opinion. I haven't seen anybody having a very, I guess, positive outlook for what earnings are going to come. But I also know that if the call or guidance is fantastic as well, or maybe the numbers are for some reason good, then this thing is just going to push really hard. At least, you know, at least between 6 to 8% or even more. We'll see what we get. The chart itself is not looking the best. If earnings weren't coming tomorrow, I would tell you 365 is coming. Well, I've been saying that for a minute, but we'll see. We'll see if earnings are again the catalyst, the obvious catalyst coming, and we just have to wait, especially for the call, and see what they say. All right, friends, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Please subscribe and like the video. Other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much. Bye bye.